I'm glad you sustained through all the previous episodes because whom we have today is the one every entrepreneur needs. I'm your host, Yashi Jain, and today with us is Mr. Abhishek Gulia, who is the Vice President of Agility Ventures. And let me tell you what Agility Venture does. Agility Ventures is a leading angel investor network capturing the market by storm through its guidance and the consultation calls about investing in new technology focused businesses. Welcome, Abhishek. How do you feel?
Thank you. I'm feeling always honored to be at places where entrepreneurship is discussed, and a lot of energy is having its place here. So thank you.
That's great. And moving further, we have a segment for you, which we have named as Select a How and Answer the Why, considering the clever name founded by us for the podcast, House
Okay.
of Why. So, number one, what according to you is the best momos place in Delhi?
Mess Momos place I have written is in Sector 7 Dwarka. There used to be a guy who used to put paneer momos probably,
Okay.
if that is the answer.
That
That is my
works.
favorite. Okay.
Perfect. Considering you are pure Delhiite, what would you choose between Raj Kachori or Dahi Bhalle?
Raj Kachori,
Haldiram or Bikaner?
Haldiram.
Haldiram. Okay, perfect. They have good chutneys
Yeah.
and the toppings as well.
It's the quality of the dahi that is very interesting.
Makes sense. My parents also pretty much like the Haldiram ones. And the best place for solace in Delhi that helps you go away with your work stress.
In Delhi, I would say it's more about the places जैसे हौज खास की साइड पे the places Panchsheel Park is there. Then I also find it very interesting in the student community. South campus चले जाओ, North campus चले जाओ. I love being there क्योंकि that brings out college times, but also it's a very different vibe altogether. And आप chaos में काम आ जाता है. That is what I like.
Makes sense. And what are the two best places in Delhi for you to go and have fun?
Okay, depends on what fun definition is.
According to you.
I'll say if you're an engineer who wants to do electronics, then Chandni Chowk mein there's an electronics market. You find anything and everything there, and you figure out way to build machines and other stuff. If you're talking about wanting to understand the retail or what folks nowadays are consuming, you should go to the food markets, the multiple places from CP to Parparganj and other places, just to understand what is Delhi all about. Probably these are two places that you should explore.
I think they have the Delhi roots in them.
It is there.
Yeah. But that's great. The audience got a bit of your choices and where you like to have fun and everything. But coming to you as a person, we have seen that you were all together in Delhi, maybe all like example Faridabad or Gurgaon, but
Right.
Delhi was in your roots forever. And I even see that you did your graduation from IPU, but certainly what I noticed was the degree you did, that was engineering. Then you moved on to a bit of marketing, and then you have evolved as a person, right? Moreover, we see you now in a venture capitalist. So how is it to have such diversified paths in life, and also what do you think is the is your kind of take on this?
Right. So I'll say that in life a lot of things are not defined.
Correct.
It may think that it is defined, but it is not. And that is what brings me to a very interesting aspect of understanding the real truth and the myth. If you've done some XYZ course, does not mean you cannot go in some other field.
Correct.
That is a very wrong myth that is there, which is prevalent among a lot of people. A lot of times when we choose our careers, we have this direction that I have to decide, and this is what I decide is going to be the future of my life or world. But that is not the truth. It's more about what kind of exposure you get, what kind of understanding it is building in you, and how you are able to take use of that strengths that are getting built there into your favor.
Okay.
I'll talk about my career paths. I've been entrepreneur, I've been marketing, I've been to tech, I've been into finance, investing, and what eventually it gave me is that it gave me a round view around things, on how things work. So I can talk to a tech guy and I can talk to a finance guy. And now I can talk to a HR guy also. I can talk their language. So the beauty piece is then I became a journalist. And you have to then figure out where do you suit. So either you can be a startup founder, he has to be a journalist, or maybe you have an investor or stuff like that.
Yeah.
So that brings me to where I am right now, and let's see how it moves.
Isn't it something when you talk about journalism that we are basically, every human are the journalist of their own lives?
Right.
But sometimes what happens is that being a journalist might influence your being there. For example, there was a recent podcast I did with one of the notable speakers, and she talked about how it was her decision. And another notable speaker had a podcast with was very adamant on the word how your parents feel about it. So those decisions are influenced and kind of take a more powerful take on how you are as a journalist or majorly as a human being. So how is it for you?
So I'll tell you about this in a very simple way.
Right.
We have been, like, as a kid, when you grow, your decisions are usually taken, like in India they are usually taken by your parents, because they have seen much world and those things. And sometimes what happens is that your sense of decision making is not developed, so
Right.
they take the decisions for you. And the challenge with that is, maybe it's right, maybe it's wrong, but you might be feeling cribbing about it, because okay, whenever a failure will come, you can say that okay, my father chose it for me, I didn't never want it. And that is something which we as a society should understand now. So if you are not taking your decisions, somebody else will. So that is one basic understanding that one has to understand. Second is, I'll talk in the terms of finding your zid. Now, हमारे साथ क्या रहता है ना, जो when we are growing up, we usually like want our kids to be not ziddy. अगर जिद्दी हो तो आप गंदे बच्चे हो. But trust me on this, all entrepreneurs are ziddy. And अगर आप जिद्दी नहीं हो तो नहीं होगा. If this podcast you're also doing out of zid ना, कि नहीं यार मुझे कुछ अपना करना है, and that is way you're building it up. Same चीज़ है. The thing is that you as an individual should be now at a stage aware होना बहुत ज़रूरी है, और फिर उसके aware होने के बाद decision power अपने हाथ में लेना बहुत ज़रूरी है. Because अगर जब तक आप वो नहीं लोगे, then your decisions would be decided by parents, and then maybe some teachers, and then probably your boss, and you're always being played.
Correct.
And nobody wants that, but they also don't want to break it. And if you're aware of that through this podcast, yeah, in general, then start working on that, so that you are becoming self-independent person. Your thought is becoming independent. In that way you grow and you do things.
Eventually, when you were talking about it, there's this recent series I saw on Netflix. I think it's a Islamic series. It's like Love 101. So what happens there is, there are a bunch of students who are very mischievous, and they used to do everything that's wrong in the school. And certainly there was this decision that was taken by the headmaster of removing them from the school, like expelling them completely. Right. So what happens is, they all pair up together. They were entirely different from each other. They were not friends, but I think it was their zeal that they came together and not have gotten expelled. So I think it works with everything in life, not only when we talk about startups, for that matter.
Obviously, in life, if you want things, you have to be adamant about it. जिद होना पड़ेगा. जिद्दी लोग यूजुअली ऐसा होता है कि नेगेटिव में देखे जाते हैं, बट आपको अपने लिए जिद करनी पड़ेगी.
I think
और
that
फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल सीखना पड़ेगा, क्योंकि आप भूल चुके हो जिद करना.
वो भी है अब तो, बिकॉज आई थिंक ये बहुत ज़्यादा हो गया, बिकॉज व्हेन वी इवॉल्व एज अ पर्सन, देयर इज़ टेक्नोलॉजी, देयर इज़ फाइनेंस, देयर आर अ लॉट ऑफ थिंग्स दैट आर कमिंग अप थ्रू द इंडस्ट्री इटसेल्फ. व्हेन वी टॉक अबाउट फिनटेक विच इज़ रैपिडली बूमिंग नाउ अ डेज, यू नीड टू हैव दैट पर्टिकुलर इन्फॉर्मेशन कि हाँ आप जानते हो इस चीज़ के बारे में.
Right.
बिकॉज आप एक मीटिंग में बैठे हो तो आप डम ना लगो कि ये मुझे नहीं पता, उनको पता है तो मैं क्या करूँ. So I think that's definitely there. But moving forward, obviously, as I talk about your diversified paths and everything, have you ever felt the need कि शायद मैं ये ना करता? Because obviously, आप एक करियर से दूसरे करियर में मूव कर रहे हो, then you do not have that much clarity as well जब आप मूव कर रहे हो. So कैसा था आपके लिए?
I'll tell you about this in a very सिंपल वे. जो बहुत ही मिसअंडरस्टूड कोट होगा, आपने सुना होगा, जजिंग अ फ्रॉग by its ability to swim or maybe judging a fish by its ability to climb.
Yeah.
सुना है ना ऐसा? ये
सुना
होता है. बट इसको बहुत हम मिसअंडरस्टूड करके ना इसको कहते हैं हाँ ये तो छोटा सा है. द चैलेंज इज दैट फिश डज नॉट नो ही इज अ फिश.
Correct.
So you as a fish do not know. First of all, you have to understand you are a fish. Then you have to understand your water. Matlab, where is your game? What is your game? And then you swim. The challenge with us is, first of all, it has to be an awareness of who you really are.
Correct.
So for me, I'll talk about like it's something which came up recently. Earlier, I used to feel like I am a solid. Okay. So solid are like people who do something and that is what they do. For example, a doctor. He's a solid guy. He has invested 5-7 years into a career and then he'll be a doctor for the next 20 years and that is how he'll be growing. Earlier, when I was trying to understand myself, I was able to see here why I'm not a solid, why I'm not a marketing person for 20 years, why I'm not a technology person for 20 years. But then slowly and steadily, I figured out that I am not a solid, but I am something else.
Correct.
What it is in the journey, there is another type of profile which are called liquids. Liquids are the people who can flow. They can take shape of things.
Yeah.
And it becomes interesting. But the beauty is that they can spread too thin, they can spread too fast. Sometimes they have strength to hold things, but sometimes they do not have it. And that is a liquid. Now I was just not very comfortable with the liquid part also. I was like, this is what I am, but I'm not sure if I am that. And then, as things moved across, I figured out that I belong to a personality called amorphous solids.
Okay.
So amorphous solids are super cool liquids. They can transform shapes.
Yeah.
They can be at different formats, and they can do very different things what solids or liquids cannot do. I'll give you an example of amorphous solids now. A solid is a brick, whose crystalline patterns are there. But an amorphous solid is something which can bend and flow. Example, glass.
Okay. Yes, correct. Yeah.
This was not this until it was, boiled and then formed into something amazing.
Correct.
Plastics, amorphous solids.
Even bangles, for that matter.
Bangles, plastic bangles, yes.
Plastic
Metal
bangles.
not.
Yes, metals obviously not.
Right.
Correct.
So what I am saying is ki when I am glass, okay. So if I am glass, I can play amazing roles of being a glass.
Correct.
And I can transform multiple things because that is my power. But being a glass, but feeling like I have to be a rock is not justified because you'll always break, and that is a challenge.
Correct.
So that is something. So you have to understand first of all yourself, and it is hugely difficult, like very difficult, because it is something like as we grow, our mindset when we are younger, our mindset is like what do you say? Is like concrete which is not unset concrete.
Correct.
So unset concrete is wet.
Correct.
So what can you do with the wet concrete?
You can move around anywhere.
Move around it. And what happens when it is fixed? It is like dried.
I think as a small person, you might not be able to think that big that you should.
It becomes fixed.
Fixed, exactly.
It becomes fixed.
Yeah.
Now you are having a fixed mindset because it was fluid when you are a kid or something. Now you have a fixed mindset. How do you change the wiring? You have to drill it.
Correct.
You have to drill it, and that is very difficult because it will pain, it will challenge your discipline, self focus, and a lot of things. So it will be difficult, but you know the true people who are there, who are able to make things happen, work on their brain, drill on their brains to rewire them into something which is more true to what it is, and then build it out.
That's
Seems easy, very difficult.
It does, which makes me come on to my next question. Since you talk about how this glass is basically something you resonate with, isn't it very easy if this glass goes down?
Obviously, that's
so-
the nature of the thing.
Correct. But how do you manage to do it that it doesn't go down?
No, you can't.
You can't?
No.
Okay.
If the glass falls, it will break. The point is not about not breaking. It's more about how to manage that breakage, how to come back from there, how to be back in the form, be back more stronger, how to learn from it. Because if you're safeguarding your personality to not take risks,
Correct.
you're essentially not growing. You'll never know if maybe the glass falls from here and does not break. How would you know?
That's true. Yeah, how would I know? Correct. No, that pretty much makes sense. One of the concepts I read about, but the applications weren't very clear to me. So thank you so much for bringing on, shedding some light on that.
Right.
As we were before talking about how, it is very important for us to take risks, and you have even touched some pointers here.
Right.
As a student or as an entrepreneur for that matter, considering I have my podcast, my marketing agency, and moreover I'm starting a startup that is on grounds, what do you think as a investor or as the VP of a venture capitalist firm of investing in me?
So first of all, any investment usually early stage pay which happens is happening on the entrepreneur.
Correct.
Okay? Because one has to be aggressive, but one has to also understand things.
Correct.
And he or she has to have a good problem statement or a good market at least.
Correct.
Because we as humans are, if we are intelligent, we'll be able to make things happen. But primarily early stage, if I'm talking about angel investment, why do you think they are called angel investment? Because they're like angels. They don't know what they're putting money in. They're just supporting you, whatever you're doing, and that's why it's called angel investment. So earlier angel investments are the super, maybe their friends, their family, their outside people, but they're just backing on a hunch that okay, you're doing something amazing, and that's how you're building up.
Correct.
But once you have crossed that stage, you have done some numbers, you have done some metrics, and you have some numbers that flow across in your business. That is where you'll be evaluated as an entrepreneur if you're able to hire people, if you're able to fire people, if you're able to understand what the customer is saying to you, if you're able to build something which solves a problem. So then you become more and more clear as an entrepreneur.
All right. Considering I have those kind of qualities, and there's another person in line with me who is pitching their startup to you to have fundings for them, what is the probable chance of me securing a funding over the other person, or them securing a funding over me?
Like there is multiple variables, like if they're doing the same business, same space, it boils down to entrepreneur, how hungry you are, how much failure have you seen, how much intelligent you are around your failures, and why you are doing it. Probably a lot of times why helps you, because money is something which is okay, but also you have to understand why, the background of why this person is doing this. Okay,
Correct.
if somebody is doing it because it is his family legacy and he has to carry it, and he is passionate as he is. Plus, you are there who is not that passionate because you don't have a why. You're just okay. I'll make
Yeah.
money. After some time, once things become complex, you tend to get confused because money sources are very different, and a lot of places you can make different kind of money. Even huge money can be made in that small period of time. So your why keeps you on the idea, and as an investor I would want to understand that
Correct.
on why this person is sitting here putting his time into this. Is he doing it to prove to his parents or maybe society or to create value or what? And then
That makes
accordingly
sense.
I'll try to pick up.
So, considering now, for example, both of us received the fundings and we are on to the next level with you guys, considering you're the only venture capitalist
Right.
there. And what should be my next steps as an entrepreneur to prove them my credibility to you, except the hunger I have in me?
No, you don't have to prove, like once you have, the funds is a very secondary thing. Primary thing is more about business and dynamics, and are you able to understand your business or not?
Correct.
And if you're able to understand, and if you have the kind of resources, you're able to build things out, and essentially your numbers speak. If your
Correct.
customers are buying again from you, and if your things are growing better way, then definitely you are a better entrepreneur, and that ways you get more access to more funding and folks like that.
Correct. Even coming on to the last question for today,
Right.
what according to you is your success mantra other than aggression or the hunger or the zeal to do it?
For personal or startups?
For personally, yes.
Though personally, I would say, matlab, everybody is on a journey. First of all, um, first of all, it's like for understanding the building blocks. I would say first, you don't know who you are, although you feel that you know. This is the question that I have been through, multiple times, and it is from the college itself. There's a saying that know yourself, that is the game of the goal, and all of that. But it is very hard to know yourself because the things like conditioning, the things like misconceptions, the things like you don't even know what all things that makes you happy.
Correct.
Who takes your calls, who call your shots, who takes responsibility. Like sometimes people do this ki they take actions, but when consequences come they run away. And it's not about running away. It is stressful situation, people, you want to escape, but that is where you have to work on building your character.
Correct.
And that is how things are built. Somebody जिसने एक गलती को देख लिया है, उससे अगर वो सीखने का उसका समझ आ गया है और वो कर लेता है उसको, तो then he's putting his time to do another गलती and then another गलती, and the गलतीs become better, and that's okay, that's the part of the thing. But you should know how to heal yourself. आज अगर ये टूटता है तो इसके अंदर अगर ये कैपेबिलिटी है, ये टूटा रह गया, तो देन इसका कोई सेंस नहीं है. सो हिज mental blockage is there where he is not able to heal himself.
Correct.
But what if it breaks and then he has such healing powers that it can just change some other shape and become a plate and then become a stick, and then I don't know what, but that is what the thing with the mind is. We humans are stretchable, we are expandable, but first of all understand करना बहुत ज़रूरी है. And to do that, first of all, I would say write diaries, write about what do you think on a daily basis. If you take an example, I would say that we are sitting on a boat. एक ऐसा गोल सा boat होता है, साउथ में होता है ऐसा, and you're sitting on that boat, and to move forward to something, you have to pedal 2 times this side and then 2 times this side, and that ways you aggress. But what is happening, like with everyone, essentially everyone, we are constantly sitting on that. First of all, our pedals are with us,
Correct.
but we don't know that. And it is just rotating. And we're just sitting and we're just this is happening, the world is moving, everything is, there's no job, there's no this, that, and they are being told by the people, okay, you go there, you do this, okay, do आप पानी से थोड़ा सा हाथ निकाल लो, ऐसा कर लो, वैसा कर लो, and आप वो सब कर रहे हो, तो पागल के जैसे घूम रहा है. So first of all, you have to understand that you have to stop that boat into being stationary, and that is how you can focus.
True.
You do it by and usse pehle you have to be aware that you are the only solution. A lot of times we are looking for other people to help us out. Okay, somebody can come, some mentor can come, somebody can help me do this, do that. Haan, that's okay, but you have the paddles. आपके पास है वो पतवार, निकालो तो उसे उठाना तो सीखो.
Correct.
And फिर उसको डालो so that आपका धीरे धीरे करके कम हो. Then take a help of some mentor, and then he'll be able to figure out. And then you stop your rotating boat, and then you figure out, okay, now my boat is, now I'm able to see, focus, and then work on it. Where I want to go. Okay, I want to be, let's say I want to secure this much amount of money so that I feel safe. Okay, after this is my game. Okay, this is been there, and then I want to be here. So that way, if you are decisive about what you want to do or where you want to be, is the way forward. Otherwise, you'll be rotating like this only until either you're aware or you'll just go with unaware. Just
I think it's
rotating.
about how you all figure it out, and simply you can't just figure it out because somebody, someone, or maybe you yourself don't know, as you mentioned that you are the solution. So I think we are the solution when we even talk about in the perspective of country, that it's you first who's the first solution. And definitely that brings me to the end of this conversation today. In this conversation, obviously there are a lot of skills, soft skills, hard skills, that are explicitly not mentioned but obviously talked about in detail. So we hopefully will be seeing you with another notable speakers.
Right.
That brings us to the end of the conversation today, and thank you so much for coming in and taking out the time to speak to the audience.
Yeah, awesome.
Thank you so
Always
much.
pleasure. Thank you.